Hello, everybody, and welcome to this edition of Psicast. I'm your host, Robert Marsi. I'm joined here with Bill Montana.
Hey, how you doing, Robert?
Good. So Bill, what are we going to talk about today?
Well, just a quick buzz follow-up from the episode a couple weeks ago. My Little Jimmy's Prop Shop pieces came in. They look fabulous, by the way. And they are stone. Really well made. You guys ought to be getting up on that.
Yes, you got to check it out.
Yeah, I mean, they're really nice. I bought the idol and the ancient bird, or what I do, and the ancient bird's going to come in very handy. The south side of the magnet is actually on the back, so I can use it for, biomagnetic work. So that's pretty cool.
Nice.
So that's gonna work out well.
That's good, because, when I took a look at that stuff, I was blown away at some of the great stuff he's got on there, so definitely worth checking out.
Yeah, and the magnets are strong. I mean, they're not weak. They're really, really strong.
Nice. Great. That's awesome. Now, is there anything in the market that you're aware of that you've seen?
That I've seen that's new? No, I haven't seen really anything new. That excited me, actually. I see Gemini Artifacts got some new releases out, but nothing's out yet, so.
Yeah,
we got some newer stuff coming out. And they're getting there, They had some stuff released a while back, but nothing brand new.
Mm-hmm.
So it's still struggling along,
Right.
We'll get there. Tim's over there now, and a couple of the other builders are over there. So it should be the new company to go to. You'll have the quality you're used to. So that's going to be cool. But, all the stuff is like, individual guys crafting it, so it's going to take some time. So.
Oh, yeah.
Not a bad thing. And then I know you're as busy as I am these days, so.
Yes.
You're back on the flight path. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Flying city to city.
Yep, flying around and doing shows. So, which basically I think we should cover some of that, because I know that there are those listening who actually do this for a living, go out, perform, and they encounter some resistance while they're flying. Because, as some of the professionals know, flying, it can be a hassle sometimes.
Yeah, it really can. And where the hassle comes in is getting your stuff to the gig.
Right.
I mean, when you're a prop-based performer, whether you're using gimmicks or you're using props like I do, getting your materials to the gig is important. Even though I can work without them, but I really do like to have my stuff with me.
Right.
Now, here's the biggest thing. You need to be able to do, I don't care what field you're working in, either metaphysics or mentalism or magic or whatever, 45-minute to an hour set without any gimmicks. You need to be able to do it, have your primary, which is your gimmick stuff. But if something goes wrong, your baggage ends up and, you're going to Kansas and your baggage is in Italy, guess what? You got to go to work. You know what I'm saying? It happens.
Right.
Now, one of the best ways to avoid that situation is you have several sets of the same thing. So you have a multiple show. You have one show divided into 3 cases, which is basically 3 shows in those cases, okay?
Mm-hmm.
One you can carry with you if you want. One, you can mail to the venue, and then you know it's there ahead of time. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And then this box only has your show stuff in it. The third, you can have it at FedEx, somebody close to you, like your girlfriend there. She can FedEx it to you overnight if it's necessary.
Right.
But that way, you got one set on you. You got a backup at the location or the primary at the location, either one you want to look at it. There's all kinds of stuff that can go wrong, you know, working over the road. So basically, you need to track your equipment. You need to know where your stuff is at any given moment. And if you need to, have another case of FedEx overnight, $60. Who cares?
Yeah. I mean, sometimes it's cheaper than taking it with you on the plane.
I think so. When I go out to Vegas, I always send the box ahead of time. It's got my clothes in it. It's got everything in it. And I'll deal with it. I don't deal with TSA looking through my stuff, going, oh, what's this? What's this? What's this? Gone.
Yeah.
Now, here's a couple tricks for the airport, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wear shoes that are comfortable that slip on and slip off quickly.
Yeah. Yes.
That don't require a shoe horn when you're going through the airport. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Wear a belt that can be, detached and removed quickly. Sometimes you don't get the pre-check and you have to go through the crap. Don't carry loose change in your pocket. Leave that in the car. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All this stuff is just baggies that's going to weigh you down,
Mm-hmm.
Only carry the bare essentials on the plane. Or if it's in check luggage. Check luggage is a little better than, carrying it with you. But sometimes you got to carry certain things with you,
Mm-hmm.
And that's probably what we should talk about. How to pack those objects so they get to the destination safely. Because if you've ever looked off the side of a plane and seen them unload some baggage, you already know three things.
Mm-hmm.
Your shit getting thrown. It's going to land on it. It's going to bump, into something. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
It's going to get jostled around. And it's probably going to get kicked. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
The baggage handlers don't care. I mean, they move baggage fast. Most of it's closed anyway. So this is what I recommend. In the bottom of the bag, put your, pants, In the middle is where you put your stuff for your show. It gives a little padding. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
Well, they still can search it, and that's fine, but at least it'll be padded in between two layers of clothes and other things, So it's not just going to get busted up as fast. You got a little padding there, But what I really recommend is making little plastic bags for everything. Custom-sized plastic bags in a bubble wrap. So if you get a bag sealer, right?
Mm-hmm.
One of the old ones that have the arm that comes up and down, about an 18-inch thread. They're pretty cheap, actually, like $30. You can find an older one that works. Because all it's going to do is heat up and melt the plastic. Then you can go buy a regular bubble wrap, take off two squares, and turn those two squares anywhere into, one bag to 5 bags,
Uh-huh.
Little compartments for your swamis. Each swami's in its own little bag. And those bags can be, then you can you just put it on there, like say you're doing a bag that's 4 inches by 4 inches, right? Or you have 3 inches by 3 inches. Cut one piece about 4 inches by 3 inches, seal those two edges together, and then have another piece that's 3 by 3, so you get a little flap to fold over. You can cut the corners and tuck it in. Bam. There's a bubble wrap plastic bag, custom fitted to your piece. That's pretty cool. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'd add 2 very small pieces of bubble wrap, because when you wrap it, if you do the traditional wrap style where you just wrap bubble around it, you lose space. You know, this way all the bags are made to the same size, and you put everything in a bigger bag, and it's all pretty much cushioned. The bubbles will be going out. But that's a good way to get a lot of stuff into a very small area for shipping. You know?
Right.
Like I'll even bubble wrap, if I'm using a deck of cards or the tarot cards, I'll have a little bag. I have a little bag that's custom made for that size of deck. And then I got my amulets and my other stuff I use in my act, all bubble wrapped, all ready to go, all packaged. And then when I'm done, I just put it back in the thing and I'm off. Now, the other way you can do it is go get you some lift-off plastic cases from a baseball card shop. They'll hold like 75 to 150 cards. A little bit more work. You're going to want to pick some adhesive felt and put some adhesive felt on the inside of the case. The clear plastic and put adhesive felt on the bottom of the case. Cut a piece of foam with a square cut out in it. Stick that in the case and then put your object inside that, that cut out of foam. And then you got plastic lid that goes over that. So it's fairly safe. It's not going anywhere. And that's what you really kind of want in a lot of cases. You got to try and so hang on 1 second, I got to try and typical. But you want your stuff packed enough to where it's not going anywhere,
Right.
One of the biggest things I like to do is I build my own cases out of like plywood, like a high-grade ply. Because I don't like my stuff getting broken. I pack the stuff in there, which in many cases is better than an ATF case. Although ATF cases are good if you have them custom built, but if you're buying like a used ATF case, it's fine, you know what I'm saying? But that case is actually built for something else. So you're actually better off buying or having ATF cases built or wooden boxes built or something, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Now, these aren't like the ATF cases, the wood boxes, that kind of stuff. That's not your stage case. That's not the case you're going to walk on the stage with. That's the case you're going to take it to get it to a show. Now, driving to a show is a little different. You still want stuff all packed. I mean, packed like you're going to ship it overseas, packed. Where it ain't going to move around, it ain't going anywhere. Everything is safe, and you don't have to worry about it. Here's the problem. There's not that many magic shops left.
No, there's not.
Right. We used to be, we had a town, they'd have a magic shop somewhere we could pick up a few things. You know what I mean? Like stripper deck, some galley deck, something. We pick up something. They're all gone for the most part. You got Denny in Baltimore, which you got a full shop there. Stevens in Kansas. And Wichita, Kansas, full shop. So, yeah, if you're in those places, yes, you can get some stuff, right? But a lot of these new guys think, I can order it online. Well, what are you doing when you're on the road, dude? What do you do when you're on the road and you look down and you just set your case down for a second, look down, and it's gone? Well, what do you do? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And you got a gig in 2 hours, so you're kind of screwed, man. So you got to be able to, plan for this kind of thing. And I don't think a lot of people actually plan this out when they hit the road,
Right.
Bring extras of everything. I mean, how many times you get off a stage and realize you're at an airport and you realize you left something on the stage? or in the back of the room, in the green room. Usually something insignificant, but, you leave too many of those insignificant objects and it starts adding up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I left the envelopes. Shit. The coin envelopes, those are a little harder to get.
Well,
or I left this or that.
Yeah, I mean, you can find those a lot of, like, Target or Office Depot.
You can, but they're like $30 for 500.
Right.
And you had a box with you, but see, that's what I'm talking about. It's stupid mistakes like that. The best thing that helps fix a lot of that is your set packing list. Okay?
Uh-huh.
Now, the set packing list has to be detailed. I mean, very detailed, right? Object A and B go in bags, that are labeled, whatever they're labeled. They go together, you know what I'm saying? You got two compartments in the bag. That goes in there, that goes in there. Okay, we're good. So we know we have 3 pieces. We know we have the bag, the special bag that has 2 compartments, and the 2 objects that go in that bag, But when we leave the gig, after we get done with the show and pack it up, we use that packing list again to make sure we got everything. It's got little check boxes on the outside of it, for each date. Like, January 1st has got a check box. January 7th, I'm doing a gig. January 5th, I'm doing a gig, or whatever it is, 15th, if I'm doing weeklies. But there's 3 check boxes. So I know on January 7th, I packed all the stuff up because I checked the box. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I usually put the most expensive things first on that list. Because that's stuff I can't afford to lose.
Oh, yeah.
The stuff that's like $3 and $4 grand. Those are first. And then down towards the bottoms of the pencils and pens and junk, If I lose it, it's not a big deal. You know what I'm saying? It's not fatal. But it's like little advanced preparation like that. And I might even print those forms. I used to print those forms like every 3 days, in triplicate. So I got 3 copies of, that I can go back to. I can keep one on me and keep one in the, or keep in the case or the file or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it seemed to be overkill, redundant, but the idea was to help me remember to pack my shit properly.
Right.
Because really, dude, that does take discipline. You can't just, goof around to do it. You got to be disciplined. Because, look, for some of these shows, you're so worn out and pissed off, all you want to do is hit the road. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
And that's when your packing habits get sloppy. Or like you've been at a fair for 4 days. You're so exhausted you can't see, but you still need to pack it properly. But you decide, yeah, that'll be okay without a bag. That'll be okay without a bag. I'll fix it later. And that's how stuff gets broke. What do you do?
I mean, what do I do? Basically, I mean, when you told me about the bag idea, I've actually started incorporating that. Like, for example, like if you're going to pack like underwear, socks, I always put those in baggies. If I'm going to be carrying props with me that could break or anything like that, then I always use bubble wrap.
Right.
But I always use like the big ones. I don't use the small ones. I don't use the small bubble wrap. I always use the big ones because with the big ones you got way more cushion. So
yeah, well, even the small ones is fine for some things, but The big bubbles are nice, but with that bag sealer, you can seal up and make your own bags.
Yeah.
Your own little personal bubble wrap bags, which is really cool and saves a lot of room in the suitcases. You know, because the other way to do that would be to wrap it like 3 or 4 times the bubble wrap. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
Then I got swarming in a 6-inch package.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And this way I got, you know, maybe 1.5 inches with the 1/4-inch bubbles. But I'm pretty sure that can get to the program on the other side in one piece, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then there's micro hard cases, like the plastic cases from the ball store, you know?
Uh-huh.
Those are great for a lot of things. You don't want bent up and cracked and dented and broken and, you know. Actually, I'm getting ready to build a small wooden case for my bird effigy, so it doesn't get jostled around and cracked or chipped or anything else, you know.
Right.
That I got from Little Jimmy's Prop Shop. But, you know, that's just going to be an extra, I mean, it'd probably be a nail to get a box or something. That's okay. It's at least protected, you know.
Yeah.
And I look at it like this, dude. If I have too many pieces to the set and I need a bigger case, I just build a bigger case. What's the deal? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'll sell off one of the older cases. Now, these are different than the cases you're walking on stage with. You know, that's another case. That's packed inside the bigger case. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
And they may have stuff packed into it, too, and then it'll be all bubble wrapped and protected. Because I got to get my gear to where I'm going. You know?
Uh-huh.
Some of it, sometimes it's just, because I carry back of the room. I treat the back of the room stuff the same way, you know? But then also, there's little bubble wrap bags also give me a way to hand it to a customer in a bag, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Of sorts. And then I got my little decorative bags that you put that in. You know, it's a nice presentation. But if you don't think these things through, you get there and you got, you know, this is busted, I broke the screen on this, you know, where's my batteries? You know, I got to go buy batteries at the gift shop, and that's going to cost me $12.
Aw.
You know, $4 down the street, $12 at the gift shop, you know.
Yeah.
You ain't got time to go down the street. If they even have a gift shop. Plus, also, you know, the biggest thing is when you walk into a gig and you have a nice little case on wheels, it's all professional looking, you slide that in, you got your luggage on top of it or whatever, you look good.
Right.
You know what I mean? You look professional. You don't look like a kid, you know, running a magic show in the back of his car.
Yeah.
Or, you know, a 70-year-old guy running a magic show in the back of his car because he's been doing it too long and no longer gives a shit. That's true, dude. You know, cases and padding materials are, you know, something you're going to need. You know, diapers work really well to pack glass in.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. One would never think.
Yeah, they work pretty well. I mean, you got to make sure you still got it, you know, wrapped in the thing, and then pack it with some, you know, other flexible materials. But, you know, like peanuts or whatever. But you want that couple inches of clearance. Let's say I'm going to pack a screen, a small, like, laptop screen or something, you know, or an iPad or something, right? Which is a 1/2 inch thick. I'm probably going to build my own carton, and I'm going to pack that in foam. Styrofoam, you know what I'm saying? If I got to ship it anywhere, because I don't want it broken, you know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
Because I can't afford to have my working tools, because that may be the one that has all my notes and everything on it, you know?
Right.
And I don't need any of that, you know, I don't need any of that broken. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build my own box for it. Now let's say this screen that I'm building, for the sake of simplicity, is 10 by 10. by 1 inch thick.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to pack that piece in 1.5 inches of foam, styrofoam, okay, on all sides. That means if they kick it or they bang it up against something and something hits into it, it's not going to get to the screen. So I got my carton. Now, my carton I'm going to have to make it myself, too. You're going to need a wet paper mailing machine. They're about maybe $100 to $300. Worth every goddamn penny, I'm telling you. And some cardboard and a saw. So I'm going to cut those because I'm going to have 1.5 inches on the bottom. I'm going to have 1.5 inches on top, plus my cardboard, right? Plus my 1 inch screen, okay? So that's what? 3-4 inches? That's my side panels. They need to be 1.5 inches longer too, so that's 13 by 13 by 4 inches, okay? So I'm going to cut my sides. I'm going to cut a big strip of it at 13 inches. I'm going to cut my 2 squares, 13 by 13, okay?
Uh-huh.
I'm going to cut my end pieces 4 by 13. There's going to be 4 of those, okay? Now, I can also do a double layer cardboard if I want to. You know what I'm saying? Then I just cut 4 pieces, double layers for the top and bottom. And then I cut my foam to the outside dimension, those dimensions, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the foam will get stacked in. When you stack it inside, it'll be staggered, okay, around all 4 corners. So it fits really tight. That's why you have to build your own box. You know, a little gap there, paper, fold it up, you know, into a box, add the corners. Corners are a little tricky. Half on, half over, you know, boom. But then what you got is a nice box. It's got 1.5 inches of styrofoam around it with 1.5 inches on the bottom. Your piece sits in there, and the piece goes on top. You know, it's encased in 1.5 inches of styrofoam. It ain't going anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then you can tape that up or whatever, you know. Put your top on it. Use clear packing tape or paper tape or whatever. You know, clear packing tape on the top is usually pretty good.
Uh-huh.
And then they'll go into one of the hard boxes. But then I can stack stuff on it, too. You know, if I put it on the bottom, it's not going to go anywhere. There's nowhere for it to go. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not going to crack the screen or any of that. Or break the glass on the showcase. I use it for showcases, by the way. Because I'm learning. A buddy of mine is teaching me how to build the showcases. Really nice stuff. But you have to think ahead, you know? And you have to think, okay, the package handlers are going to be carrying this, are bloody idiots, they're going to kick shit. Right?
Uh-huh.
So, you know, throwing in a bubble mailer is probably not going to work real well. I mean, on some things a bubble mailer is fine, but on other things, man, that ain't very cool, you know?
Uh-huh.
Like on the crystals we make, I'll put those in a plastic case and I'll ship that in a bubble mailer. That's fine, because I know it's in a plastic case. It's not getting damaged. You know, because inside that plastic case is foam.
Right.
And if the case cracks, it's what, 75 cents or something. It's nothing. But I don't like to play around with that. I'd rather have it overpacked. Plus, it also gives a guy a case to keep the thing in too. Yeah. And that's the other thing. When you're packing stuff for transit, because we travel a lot, dude. There's a lot of tricks, you know.
Mhm.
Now, what are some of your tricks?
Well,
to get stuff.
Yeah, I feel like some of the tricks that I picked up on, like, again, a plastic baggie, like, you know, if I got, like, coins in my pocket or everything, I just put them all into, like, a plastic bag and then put that into the bin that you pass through security. And then once you're done, all you have to do is just, you know, pull that back out and put it back into your pocket, and then you don't have to waste time pulling out every little coin, every little thing, your wallet and all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I used to use plastic bags for a lot of that stuff, then I just quit carrying change. Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
You know, if I buy coffee, I just leave the 50 cents as a tip to, you know, who cares?
Right.
Because the change just seems to cause problems, you know? And then it's falling out of my pockets when I sit down. It's just a pain in the ass.
Right, yeah.
Well, I mean, you've seen me travel to Vegas and through Denver. I mean, I'm wearing, you know, the clothes on my back. That's it. No luggage, no nothing. Everything's already at the gig.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a release, too, because I know where all my stuff is. You know, I know my stuff is where it's supposed to be. Because, like, you know, we go out to Vegas, and I call the guys up in Vegas, box here, yep. Now, the box may be there a week before I get there. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but I know where my stuff is.
Right. Yeah, you know where everything is at.
And I know once I get there, they'll drop me off and grab the box and done, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Ready to go.
Yeah.
Because I cannot stand going to baggage claim.
Uh-huh.
Waiting on the carousel to spit your crap out. You know, that's a waste of time. Now, it's different on, like, overseas flights and some of that, you know, long flights. We're going to be there for a while. But, you know, these 1 to 2 day excursions, not worth it, man.
Yeah.
You know, and a $30 baggage fee in some of these airports or $60 baggage fee in some of these. You know?
Uh-huh.
A lot of times I think it's easier just to pay the $25 to ship at FedEx or $50 to ship at FedEx. You know? One way.
Right.
And then when I get done with the gig, I pack it all up, put it back in the shipping box, gone. Drop it off at the FedEx store, it's out of here. Now, I don't use UPS because they're idiots. They seem to have lost a few things. Or it takes forever to get there. I don't use USPS for that either. I use pretty much FedEx.
Uh-huh.
If I got time, FedEx Grand. If I don't have time, FedEx overnight. I know it's going to be there by noon tomorrow. You know, if I shipped in at 9 a.m. in the morning, it'll be there by noon. That's a bit in the next theater. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's kind of a nice thing. You know, when you know where your stuff is at any given moment.
Yes.
Because you don't have to worry about it, dude. I know you packed up. Didn't you pack the last time we went to Vegas? You mailed some stuff out, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course I did.
Yeah.
It was much easier.
I think Tom did too. Everybody mailed their stuff, and then we just show up, and boom, there's all the stuff. Plus, we don't have to, like, you know, explain, why is there an electronic thing in a book? Well, you know, I don't really want to talk about it. You know, that's a gizmo. No, it's not a bomb, it's a gizmo. It does. I still don't want to talk about it. Plus, it's like the more stuff you have, the more they want to search your stuff anyway. If you don't have anything, they figure you check your bags, it's all good, go on through. I mean, that saves a lot of time in, you know, TSA. Especially in some of those lines. Oh, my God.
Yeah. Well, you know, the other thing is that I wanted to get back to is something you mentioned at the beginning is wear a belt. I know there's some people who love to wear suspenders, but don't try to do that through airport security, especially if you're by yourself. That is such a pain in the ass, especially with these new suspenders now, where you have to hook them up inside your pants, and then it hooks up. You know, that's just going to be a headache for you. I've seen it happen. I've seen a guy standing in line at TSA, and then he had to take his suspenders off, and then he didn't have a belt. Now he tried to fidget around, stand there. He stood there for almost like a half an hour trying to get that back on him before he gave up and he went to the bathroom.
Right, and I usually I'll go through with shoes, socks. I mean, the shoes might be flip-flops and get ready to flip off, or slippers or something. I don't give a shit. Pair of jeans, underwear, and a shirt. I mean, there's no layered multiple shirt crap. I'm not wasting my time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
My belt, just to keep my britches up. But I mean, I'm not, because they will slow you down, then they want to search you. And if you get searched, the more stuff you have on, the longer the search takes, you know. And it just never ends. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
And then they're going to bomb swab you.
Yeah.
Because, you know, that's what we got to do. I mean, have you been through that yet?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know, like, what's in your pockets? Nothing, because I just went through the goddamn metal detector, the x-ray machine. You already know what's in my pockets. Nothing.
Yeah.
Pricks.
Yeah, it's just a pain in the butt.
And then, you know, the other thing, nice luggage. Old ratty luggage tends to get searched more than nice luggage. Do you know that?
No.
Yeah. When it's going through the scanners, if it's nice luggage, they go, oh, this is nice luggage. I don't think there's a problem with this. Oh, look at that. There's an old bag. I knew that bag would be a problem. Let's search that one. Fuck. You know, I've seen it like 10 times now. It's ridiculous.
Uh-huh.
You know?
Yeah.
But the fucking Gucci bag with the, you know, $12,000 worth of cocaine goes right on through. That's makeup powder. Yeah, for your nose, honey. You're blowing out of your fucking gourd.
Uh-huh.
You know, I mean, it's horse shit, dude. It really is. But it's what we got to deal with now.
Right.
That's unfortunate. That's why I prefer to just ship it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I ship it back, I always like to leave a little space going out. If I buy something out there, I can ship that back too. You know what I mean? Or I ship 2 boxes. Not a big deal.
Uh-huh.
I just find it so much simpler to know, well, in a week to 2 weeks out, oh, my package is already there? Cool. Yeah, the clothes might be a little bit more wrinkled and I might need a travel iron, but, you know, that's easy enough to find.
Mm-hmm.
In your better hotels. You know? But in the cheap hotels, not so easy to find. You know, because they don't even have hair dryers on the wall or anything else. Bastards.
Yeah.
Terrible setup. I mean, it's just there's a long list of cheap hotels, dude, that you'd better off not stay at. You know, get a slightly better room if you can. You know?
Uh-huh.
Dude, it's worth the money. It's worth the money.
It is, yeah.
I remember, I don't know, 20 years ago, we're doing a thing up there by you in Akron.
Uh-huh.
With me and another guy, we're doing this gig. And the Quaker Hotel, the Quaker State Hotel.
Oh, okay.
You know the round one that's in the old Quaker silos?
Mm-hmm.
Is booked out, right? There's nothing available. I said, do you have any suites available? She said, yeah, $500 a night was a deal. Worth every penny, dude. The suite was huge, dude.
Yikes.
You know, we each had like our own bedroom and then a big living room. It was like a house, man.
Uh-huh.
It's trust me, dude, freaking worth it. You know, we had private showers, and you know, it was just so much better. You know, I don't care if it was $1,000 for 2 days. My half didn't matter. We didn't have to deal with the bullshit. You know what I mean? It was a lot more convenient, actually. It had better amenities. And the place was big, too, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That suite was not small. 2,500 square feet, maybe, or something. It was quite sizable.
Wow.
compared to some of the, it's one of the big suites. It's basically half a silo. I think there's 2 suites on that floor.
Nice.
Or a whole silo or something. It's pretty massive. It's all right. I'd say check it out. You know what I'm saying? Bigger beds, bigger everything. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
We had like 2 couches, a couple love seats, a dining room table. It was all right. Desk. I mean, it was actually, it was a whale suite, but it was better than in the other thing where you crammed into some former college dorm room or something. Ridiculous. It was ridiculous. You know what I mean? But
not bad.
Now, when you're driving to the gig, there's a couple points of protocol there too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Never wear your stage clothes in the car. I mean, that's pretty simple. When driving the gig, wear driving clothes. Don't wear stage clothes. By the way, when you get there, your suit's nice and fresh, and it doesn't have coffee spilled on it, or it's not all wrinkled up or anything.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why people wear their stage clothes out of their house, get in their car, and they drive the gig. By the time they get there, they're all wrinkled. You know what I'm talking about?
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, what? I mean, you go to a conference room, let's say you're 60 miles away, which isn't a far drive by any means, but why do you want to, drive that in a suit that's going to need pressed out when it gets there?
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, let's talk about planning ahead on the cosmetic stuff. Right? Bring aspirin, Tylenol, whatever you take. Bring Rolaids. Really basic stuff, but a lot of people don't do that, you know what I mean?
Right.
Bring a fingernail file, bring a nail clipper, just in case you have, broken nail or something you need to tend to. Toothbrush, toothpaste, deodorant, cologne, all this stuff is extra besides what's in your case. This is the show stuff. This is the stuff that's pretty much designated for performance,
Yeah.
Because, dude, it makes it so much easier when you got like a little, shave kit or whatever with you, and it's got everything you need in it. Or at least enough to be at least fairly fresh. Because like when we were at the trade shows, right?
Mm-hmm.
6-7 hours into a busy trade show, you need to freshen up.
Right.
That's lunch. But you got another 6 to 12 hours to go, depending on how long they are. Some of them are damn marathons these days. Well, we don't close. Great. We're going to be here for 4 days straight. I know it. All right, cool. But, you need to have those things accessible. And those things are in a little case. That may be in your show, your performance case, just in case you need them. Both travel size. You can be all travel size stuff. That's fine for a performance case, freshen up kit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Even though I don't usually say buy travel size, but the 3-ounce World TSA is kind of a pain in the ass. And that's the other thing. If you're traveling, sometimes it's better just to buy the stuff on the other end and just leave it there when you're done. It's $20, dude.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, get travel size. I mean, you can find those in pretty much any store. Get the travel sizes because I think in terms of like liquid and deodorant, you can't carry anything over 3 ounces.
Well, if you're flying, that's one thing. But I'm talking about the travel size for your performance case.
Right.
You know, in case you need to freshen up before a gig. That can be all travel size stuff, because you're not going to use it that much. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
But when we're flying, we're just going to get our deodorant, our shampoos, and all that. We'll just buy that out there, you know? I mean, it's $20-$30. It's easier to buy it out there if I'm going to be there for a week, and then I don't have to deal with that travel size crap. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because the only thing I'm going to pack in that case is a razor, my safety razor, and some blades. Or maybe my shaving soap. But if I'm shaving that week.
Yeah.
I don't like cheap razors. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
But it's just like these little details that when you're there, you need certain things, man. And then in the travel case, or the case that comes into the theater, not the case that goes on stage, the case that comes in the theater, has basic cleaning supplies in it. You know, and those may be travel size. Like the dish soap, you know, a small dish soap in case you need to wash something. A little soap and water, maybe some Windex to clean the showcases, that kind of thing. But you got to think about these things ahead of time. Because once you get to the gig, there is no time.
Yeah.
Because how many times have you been on a flight and you're like, oh, great, we're 6 hours. Lovely. I'm 6 hours in this bloody airport. I can't stand this airport.
Yeah.
And there's airports you can put me in for 12 to 24, and I don't mind. But this is not one of those airports. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like Dayton. I hate Dayton. I hate that bloody airport. You know, it's bad. But, you know, Denver's fine. Phoenix is nice. You know, Vegas is good. But, I mean, I don't want to be stuck in some small airport that's acting like they're, you know, high and mighty. It's just ridiculous. Because you're stuck, you know what I mean? You are just stuck.
Right.
No good shops, no nothing. I mean, you know, it just gets kind of stale. But, you know, a little preparation on this thing and a lot of planning thought, making sure you have everything you need, make sure it's all properly packed. You can watch YouTubes on packing stuff. You can head over to, what is it, Travel Guru?
Yeah.
Doug Damon's place.
Mm-hmm.
That's Richard Whipper's sidekick that runs the forum there, or runs Richard's shop.
Yeah.
But he's a travel guru, and he offers a lot of, like, travel tips and stuff so you can speed through airports and stuff like this. So I thought I'd bring that up because he's kind of a cool guy in that regard. But, you know, all these little tips, man, they'll save you so much time. What do you got?
No, I think that's it, you know, for me on my end.
Yeah, just plan it out, make sure you have everything.
Yeah.
And then double check it, and then triple check it. I mean, you know, if you got 6 effects in your show, make sure you have those 6 effects with you. You know, don't guess. Mm-hmm. No. A lot of times people don't do that, you know what I mean? And if you get to a gig and you don't have something, have contingency plans where you can work without it. You know, I did a gig the other day and we left a couple pieces. Like, forget it. What's going on? You would have never noticed it. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
If you're viewing that talk that me and Doug did together through the eyes of the spectators, you would have never noticed the stuff we forgot. You know?
Uh-huh.
It just wasn't even visible. But yet there was stuff that was left, and, you know, accidentally, laying on the table when we got back. But, you know, That was our own fault. We were in a hurry.
Mm-hmm.
We were being slackers. I was a little lazy that day, but that was just bad prep, you know?
Right.
I mean, I had 95% of it. I had left a couple pieces that I kind of wanted because they would have highlighted another routine, but yeah, whatever. Sometimes you just got to go with it. Well, I think that's it for this one. Hopefully we'll have another guest next week, and hopefully we'll be a little freer on our schedule. So,
right.
You know, you got booked in. We all got booked in at the same time, so we're like, book. Got to roll.
Yep, got to make money.
Got to do something.
Got to hustle.
Got to hustle. Oh, let's give them the tip on the booking a gig. The easiest way to book a gig, in person.
Yes. In person.
For the initial meeting. After the initial meeting, you can book stuff through email, over a phone. But try to book it in person. Let them see you, impress them, do whatever you need to do, but it's just easier to book in person, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
So I know guys you send out old school press packs. You send out 600, right?
Mm-hmm.
Response, 0. I know another guy that sent out like 2,000 emails. Response, I think 1 lead, and that was it. Right?
Uh-huh.
The last 6 shows I booked were in person. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's the same amount of time as me sending out 6,000 emails, right? Or making a big press promotional package. But if you book in person, you don't have to deal with any of that shit.
Right.
And your booking ratio goes through the roof. You know, 85, 95% close rate, usually. At some point within a year or two, you know.
Uh-huh.
A lot of times it's higher than that. But booking in person, I don't care where it is. I don't care where the gig is. Doesn't make a damn bit of difference to me. You know, if I got to go scout a place, I'll jump a morning flight, go scout it, come back on the next day, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because I book places where I want to be at. But I find it so much easier to book in person, man.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, I'm putting a lot of energy into this, you know? I jumped a flight and flew out to Colorado. I want to check the shop out, you know? And sometimes I get out there, I'm like, nope, I'll work with this one, but I'll work with this one over here. Scouting missions, know your market. And most importantly, book in person. It works, you know? Well, I use only gig masters, and I get these, you know, scammer leads. Yeah, right. That's all you get, scams. Scams and idiots that don't want to pay any money. Don't do it. Book in person. I mean, some people get leads off that, but most don't. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
They might get the occasional 1 gig a year or something. That's just a waste of time. You won't see me on Gig Masters or Gig Post or Gig whatever it is. None of those. You might see me on some of the bigger agent sites, you know.
Uh-huh.
If I can get on some of those, I'm good. Money's better, too. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely.
Like some of them are, you know, minimum pay is $2,500. Nobody's working for any less than that. On some of the, and those are the sites that the promoters and event planners and stuff go to. They don't go to Gig Masters, people. Quit thinking that. That's a myth.
Yeah.
I know some big promoters that hire in some big talent, and they do not go to Gig Masters. Matter of fact, if you're on Gig Masters, you ain't getting hired. I know some promoters that usually, you know, when they hire an entertainer, it's $50,000. You know, you think they're finding them on Gig Masters? No.
No.
So don't waste your time with that. That was a scam deal. You are much better off booking in person, or getting an agent, getting one of the better sites. You know, I just won't do it because I know better. I know it's a waste of my time. You know, I don't want to set up my profile. I don't want to set up none of that. That's a waste of my time. You know what I mean?
Right. Oh, yeah.
Setting up a Gig Masters profile is a waste of time. I'll say it. Waste of time. Because I know too many people that do it, and they don't get any results. And then there's a couple of them, they'll be like, oh, I get booked all the time. Yeah, you work for $80 a show. Dude, I make that my love basket. I don't need this crap. Yeah. And then donations. I don't need it. I don't need it. Don't need it, don't want it. I really don't want to be, you know, listed in the same line of people, those people, you know?
Uh-huh.
It's bad for business.
Right.
It's true. Maybe sad and probably hurt a few feelings, but it's true. You got anything else? Then wrap us up.
No, that's about it for this day. So.
Yeah, you got an early morning flight anyway. Have fun.
I do. Thank you. So, all right. Well, that ends this edition of Psicast, and we will see you guys next week, where hopefully we will have a guest speaker online. So until then, we will see you guys later.